I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed that I set my sights on Monday, and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure can be a friend of mine. But I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise. And I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? I've been one more correspondent, and I've been too hard to find. But it doesn't mean you ain't been on my mind. Will you meet me in the middle? Will you meet me in the air? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Will I try to fake it? I don't mind saying I just can't make it. Thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise. And I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? I've been one more correspondent, and I've been too hard to find. But it doesn't mean you ain't been on the mind. Will you meet me in the middle? Will you meet me in the air? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Will I try to fake it? I don't mind saying I just can't make it.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
Hello, YouTubers. We'll be with you in just a second. Hang in there.
This afternoon, maximum sustained wind from that storm 140 miles an hour with higher gusts.
Overnight, tornadoes with damage were reported near Miami. Thousands are already without power, and once Ian makes landfall and rips across the state, that number is expected to go into the millions. 30,000 personnel are already standing by to help get the lights back on once the worst of the storm passes.
Fox's Lauren Blanchard.
Well, that tropical water got hotter and hotter. Now there's a storm coming up from the south. The wind's blowing so hard, it can blow the false teeth right out your grandma's mouth. And the farmers are wishing there was an invention to plant corn laid flat down to the ground, so that the wind can't blow it over. Then maybe in October they can stand it back straight up and down. It's hurricane time in Caroline when and the pine trees sway and dance. It's hurricane season. Are you staying? Are you leaving? Either way, you know you're taking a chance. Mm-hmm.
His latest song, John Jones, our friend here. John Jones, a guitar picker, singer, and songwriter. He just couldn't help himself with all the activity in the tropics this year. Hopefully, hurricane time in Caroline will remain nothing more than a song for 2022. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Kelly now.
That's catchy.
It is very catchy.
Yes.
Mhm.
John has a way with dealing with what's going on around you, your surroundings, your, from weather to whatever. I like that, weather to whatever.
Weather to whatever.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I got to trademark that one. Speaking of this little storm, the 5 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center has Ian approaching landfall in the central west coast of Florida with 140 mile per hour sustained winds.
This thing's a monster.
It is a monster. It's big. It's huge. It's out of control. Ian completed an eye wall replacement cycle during the overnight hours. And recent data from the Air Force Reserve Hurricane. These are Air Force Reserve people. They don't get any extra money for this stuff.
I know.
They're reserve Air Force people.
Brave.
Very recent data from that reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that the hurricane has reached a Category 4 intensity.
Yep.
Category 5 is not very far away, but it's not going to make that much difference. Category 4, strong Category 4 or weak Category 5 is not going to make any difference whatsoever. That's just a description.
Yeah.
There is some moderate shear over the hurricane, but this is not likely to affect Ian very much due to its huge, they call it large, but it's a huge size. Some fluctuations in intensity are possible, likely, before the center reaches the coast mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon today. At least it's going to come in during daylight hours. But Ian is expected to reach the coast as an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane. Weakening is expected, of course, while Ian moves over the Florida peninsula. Ian has jogged just a little to the left this morning, but the long-term motion remains northeastward. That's a scary thing. The hurricane should continue moving northeastward through tomorrow.
Well, yes.
This motion is expected to bring the center of Ian onshore along the west coast of Florida today, of course, and over central Florida tonight and tomorrow. After landfall, it's a crapshoot, honestly, where this sucker will go.
Yes, you're right about that.
The National Hurricane Center still has it as a hurricane over central Florida, which is unusual. Normally,
all the way to Orlando.
Yes. Disney World, watch them out.
They're closed.
Yeah.
Today and tomorrow.
It will become a tropical storm as it curves first northward, then northwestward, approaching the state's east coast. Thank goodness, as crossing Georgia along the coast into South Carolina. It's going to turn back to the left.
You better watch that statement.
That's what they're saying. I'm just quoting them.
Well, this morning at 6 a.m., they changed their statement a little bit on Weather Channel.
I don't count on those guys. Those guys in Atlanta are in a different world. It will go along the coast into South Carolina, then into North Carolina, moving to the left, hopefully, and of course diminishing.
Well, right
to a depression.
Right before I left to come here, they were saying there's now a chance.
There's always a chance, but
that when
the weather guys on TV are always calling for something else.
Well, yeah, but when
they got to keep people listening
across Florida. Now they're saying there's a little wobble. We'll put it back out in the Atlantic.
A little wobble,
and it will reform and come up as a tropical storm.
I'm going to count on the Hurricane Center.
Mhm.
They're smarter than the TV guys in
Well, I'm gonna look and
Atlanta.
see what they're saying right now.
Well, they won't say anything until 8 o'clock. Hurricane
I'm
Center
gonna
will.
keep it up here. Why at 8 o'clock? I'm gonna check it.
Yep. I got it punched up too. And it should, according to the Hurricane Center, with the latest information, which was an hour ago,
Mhm.
2 hours ago, it should continue curving towards the northwestward path as a tropical depression, which will be winds of 35 miles per
Mhm.
hour or less. And watch out, Boone. Go to the western part of North Carolina in that area as a big rain event. We're going to get rain
Mhm.
right here. We're going to get rain. Today's Wednesday. We're going to get rain beginning
Starting
tomorrow
tomorrow.
night,
Mhm.
tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night.
Mhm.
And we're going to get a lot of rain,
Yep.
4 to 6 inches of rain,
Yep.
at least. That's what we're going to have here.
Mhm.
Stay tuned. We will bring you the 8 o'clock advisory. It's an interim advisory in about an hour. So we'll let you know about that too.
They've already had some tornadoes in north of Miami yesterday. Yeah.
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 Had some damage.
That's one of the things about the stuff that goes on
Mhm.
to the right side of a
Yeah.
hurricane as it's coming in. It can spawn tornadoes.
52,000 with no power so
Yeah,
far.
well,
And that's just a tip of
that
the iceberg.
hasn't happened. Yeah, wait till
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah. And flooding in the Keys, which
That's
that's
normal.
nothing new.
I
Yeah.
mean, high tide is
I
flooding
wouldn't
in the
live down
Keys.
there.
I love visiting the Keys.
Visiting and living
Did
are
you hear
two
me say
different things.
visiting?
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't live there. You'd have
Well.
to have you'd spend all your money on flood insurance. Like
Spend all your money on,
Yeah.
building a big high rise.
you'd have to do something.
Mm.
Oh
So-
no, they can keep that.
I like the area. It's
Mhm.
it's beautiful
It's
because
very
of what I
pretty.
like to do.
Mhm.
But
I've been
can't-
there once. I
can't
don't
visit.
like the road to get there.
You
I'd
mean
rather
that
fly
one,
into
one lane road?
I don't. Is that what you call it?
That's what I
Okay.
call it.
Yeah.
It's a path.
It's a total
It's a
path.
path of bridges.
And you have to have some major anxiety medicine to ride. I don't know how people do it every day.
Why would you? Well, if I got there, I'd just stay until something made me leave.
I just that road. Whose idea was it to be? And you all would have to wonder, how safe is that road? I mean, I question that a lot. But
Well, it's withstood the test of time.
yeah, because I've ridden on it. It was many, 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 many years ago.
Oh, well,
But
way
yeah,
before you or I were
Mhm.
born, it was there.
scary. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine on a bridge that's 7 miles long? You ever been on a bridge that's 7 miles long? You can't stop for anything.
No, you can't. I don't. I have an issue with bridges and when they're like half a mile long. I don't want when that big. Oh yeah, I don't like going into Maryland.
Do not
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah.
Well, what happens with the car that's in front of you with a flat tire that is
I know, what
trying
do
to
you
make
do?
it
Yeah.
across? You can't just not. There's
I
not a
would
lot-
connect their
Mm.
bumper and just push them along. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy. No problem.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. We're both sort of tired today.
We are.
We're watching way too much stuff on TV. I'm not watching TV so much, to be honest with you. I'm watching the weather stuff a lot right
Mhm.
now, and for obvious reasons. Yes, if this storm were to do something other
Oh,
than
my
what the
word.
Hurricane Center says it's going to do, we could have a problem.
Rayford, you ain't even said anything about disturbance number 1.
Yeah, it's out there. It ain't going to do anything.
80% chance of formation.
Yeah, formation, but where's it going to go?
I don't know. You
To
tell
the
me.
to the north.
Is it okay?
Mm. It's wobbling. It's going to go northwest, and by the time it gets up to our parallel,
Mhm.
it's going to go into those waters that make it go away.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I just
I-
saw
you know,
the X.
Unless something changes, there's
Yeah.
always a chance. Whatever the conditions are
They
on
can't
land,
say
there's
anything
always a
about this.
chance.
Okay.
I'm looking at what's affecting us, or it is going to affect us.
Yeah, but not directly. So let's hope. Yeah.
I'm kind of counting on that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, TD number 1 it has not moved very much.
Oh, that's
in
just
the
one with
last-
the X right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 3 or 4 days that I've been
Oh,
watching
okay.
it.
Cool.
It's just like there.
Mhm.
Got a rain mass. Yes, it's been a 70% chance of formation for the last, I don't know, 5 days, 4 days.
So it only went up 10%. Okay.
And yeah, it's something possibly is going to happen.
Mhm.
Um,
Sweet.
it's It's what they describe as it's out there meandering.
Let it
I
meander.
love that little word.
Yeah,
It's,
meander
it's
along.
hanging
Yeah.
around. That's about all it's
Yeah.
doing.
Just meander along.
We'll be
Stay
all right.
there. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll be okay with that.
Well, I've got a class reunion in the middle of the month, so I don't have any difficulty
We
getting
haven't
back
even got to
here.
the end of the. Well, we're at the end of the month. We ain't got to the
Middle
beginning.
of October.
Yeah, well, something big would have to happen all of a sudden.
It would have to, because I don't want to get, so
Where's
why
it going
don't
to
we?
be? Not here.
No, it's at home, but I want to be able to get back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we have heard I can't get back.
Well, you don't have to.
No,
You could just hang
no,
around.
no.
Mama would like it.
Oh, I know she would.
Take her some pears.
I'm going to. Definitely going to do that.
All right, let's see. What else do we got going on? It's still getting stronger, the hurricane. It looks like here right now, but just shy. It's almost a Category 5.
I know.
Almost Cat 5.
Scary.
That Cat 5, strong Cat 4, there's no difference in the impact in the area. So get prepared for it. One of West Virginia's U.S. senators has seen the light. Democrat Joe Manchin quickly found out that he's losing bipartisan efforts to pass legislation. But if Manchin thought his constituents ignored the smoke coming from the Democrats' efforts to slip one past the Republicans, they were sadly mistaken. Manchin made a deal last month with Schumer to vote for Democrats' social spending and taxation bill in exchange for Schumer bringing energy permitting reform for a Senate vote. They intended to attach a permitting reform proposal from Manchin to a continuing resolution. See, that's what bothers me about anything that any legislator, and I don't care if it's at a county level, city level, or federal level, you put a bill out there that has all the good intentions in the world, and then other idiots attach something else to it.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That will cause people like me to say, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
And I don't trust you. If you can do that, and it modifies what's going on, I no longer trust you. I liked Manchin. I don't like Manchin anymore. I would have voted for Manchin if he would, with today's element, I would have voted for Manchin to be president.
And now you're like, nah.
Nope. He's just as sleazy as the rest of them. Done. He's nowhere. Anyway, the deal was his taxation bill, in exchange for Schumer bringing energy permitting reform for a Senate vote. First of all, why would you trust Schumer to do anything? Even if you're in the same party, why would you trust him? Is there any reason to trust Schumer? No, you're silent lips.
I'm just like, I'm trying to give you an answer.
They intended to attach a permitting reform proposal. Permitting reform proposal from Manchin to a continuing resolution to temporarily, word I don't trust,
yeah, no,
word I don't
I
trust,
started to say that. You beat me
fund
to
the
it.
government until after the elections. In other words, it's nothing but a political move.
They do this every year.
A political move.
Yeah.
He added that we should never come to the brink of the announced that Majority Leader Schumer to remove the permitting language from the continuing resolution we will vote on this evening.
What does that even? What? Say that.
He
again?
sounds like Biden.
Say that twice, because that don't even make sense. What you just
He
said.
added that we should never come to the brink of the announced proposal that Majority Leader Schumer is offering to remove the permitting language from the continuing resolutions we will vote on this evening.
I'm still trying to figure out what that means. I mean, I'm not.
So am I.
I'm
This
not
is a
stupid
quote.
by any means.
It's got quote signs on both ends.
That doesn't make. I'm not dumb, but I'm
The
seriously
Democrats
not
are mad.
understanding what he's saying.
Manchin has lost a lot of power in the Senate, both from the Republican side and from the Democrat side.
Well, then what side was he, getting pressure from? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he was getting pressure from Schumer and company, but
the Republicans
had gotten a lot of support from the Republicans, and now he's lost both sides. He's going to be an independent.
he's headed that way. He's definitely
He
headed
would
that
be
way.
better off.
Wonder what his
He'll
constituents
get a
think
lot
about
more.
him.
He will get a
Yeah.
lot more support from the independents than he will from either.
But what he just
party.
that statement he just made is like a nothing statement. Like it literally makes no sense.
Yep.
It's like someone that doesn't speak English try to make a sentence because that explain what that
I
means.
can't even translate.
Yeah,
what
that's
he
what I'm
said.
saying. Like I'm super confused. That's awful. My 8-year-old grandson could speak better than
Oh
that
yeah,
right there.
absolutely.
And sometimes I struggle to figure out what he's saying. So
Sometimes I I have
Yeah.
problems figuring out what these politicians are saying all the time.
well, I think they
They're
do
trying
it.
to cover everything,
Yes,
all bases,
yes.
and they cannot do that. You've got
Yeah.
to take a position. You got to take a stand. If you're a party person,
Mhm.
if you're an American, you need to take a stand.
And stand by
Whatever it
your
is.
take on that stand. Like, whether you are standing alone or with others,
Yeah.
own it. If you back something, own it. Don't flip flop. But I don't
Step
even know
up to
what
the
that
plate.
even says. What he's even talking about. Makes no sense. When
Nope.
you've made both sides mad,
Yeah.
there's a problem.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I make both sides now mad all the
I
time.
probably do too, but
But
I just
I do it
I try
intentionally.
to be fair.
I do it
but-
intentionally with malice of forethought.
Okay. I can see both sides of most every argument, but I can't even wrap my head around that right
no,
there.
I can't either.
Good
Confusing.
Lord.
Totally confusing.
Don't they often have people that write their stuff for them? I'd fire
Not
that
that.
guy. Oh, that's literally out of his mouth.
That was during an interview.
Well, then that's even scarier.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. How old is this guy?
well, I'm going to say in his 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He should be smarter than that.
Especially I've heard him speak before and he made sense. That makes no sense.
His problem is he's trying to appease people to the right and people to the left.
Now he's appeased no one.
He's
his own thoughts.
He's ticked
Yeah.
off everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Yikes.
anyway, he's done. He's toast.
I agree with that statement.
He would have been the Democrats' choice to be president.
I think
in
you're
my
probably
personal,
correct.
He would have been.
Yeah.
He should have been.
Well, he's not now.
But get rid of Biden and get rid of what's her name, Kamala
Harris.
Then he would have been the people's choice.
Is it Kamala or Kamala?
Yes.
Okay.
Depends upon how
you say
she
it?
wants to be considered today or tomorrow, whenever.
Okay.
Let's take a break, do a little bit of weather. Like we don't know what's going to be happening.
It's going to rain, folks.
Pardon the pun, it's going to be up in the air. You're live and local, Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSAB, and we'll be right back. All right, weather time, but let me just preface this. They just checked. Maximum sustained winds at 7 o'clock this morning in the center of Hurricane Ian,
Ian.
155 miles
Oh,
per
my
hour.
Lord.
That is a Cat 5.
It was a Cat 5. I
Um,
hope those people have
I,
evacuated.
I really hope.
Oh,
that-
my
I
God.
hope my cousin's gone.
I've got friends
'Cause
that live down
I've got
there.
a
I need
cousin
to.
who lives there,
I'm going to have to message her.
and he's stubborn like the rest of all the
Yeah.
Browns, and he said he was going to stay.
Oh,
So
my Lord.
anyway,
No.
I hope it's too late now. Hopefully he's gone. You know
Mhm.
what a gig is? I mean, you play all sorts of gigs, right?
Mhm, I play gigs. Yeah.
What's a gig for you?
A gig for me would be an event,
Mhm.
you know, a an event. I'm
Well,
playing an event.
there are only 2 of them left.
Hmm
2 gigs left down there at Tideline Marine.
I know what kind you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the kind of gig that has 5 pointed spear points that you can use to gig flounders. Yay. A dozen or more have moved in the last 3 weeks.
Right.
High end, top end professionals. These are not the almost disposable gig heads and bamboo handles you may have used in the past. These are metal gig heads on a 10-foot long metal handle, the ones that professionals use.
hmm
With the 2 remaining gigs, when they're gone, I'm not sure when the next ones will arrive down in Tideline. Cool thing for you. There's a special deal for you right now. If you shop before we bid farewell to September,
hmm
which will be Thursday or Friday,
hmm
if you shop between now and then for those 2 gigs, only 2 that are left in the house.
People are gonna be fighting for them in front of the store.
Instead of $120,
Uh-huh.
you'll save $20.
Yeah.
Either of these gigs for $99.99.
Nice.
Okay. These are meant to last for
Mhm.
many, many years. Drop in at Tideline Marine today before someone else leaves you holding the bag. Tideline Marine and Family, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Of course, the big weather story, Hurricane Ian. It's a major hurricane.
That's not even what other word could you call it? That's
Huge,
monstrosity
big,
Ian.
monster,
Yeah.
killer.
That thing
likely,
is deadly
likely
killer.
will be
Yes.
a killer.
Yes.
A
Oh, my
major
Lord.
hurricane packing
Mhm.
winds of 155 miles per hour as of 7 o'clock at the West Coast, knocking on Florida's door.
I got a friend. I just messaged her. She better be
Packing
evacuated.
those, it's
Yeah.
already wreaking havoc along the
Mhm.
western coastline of Florida. We don't even know how bad it is because it's
Mhm.
not daylight there. The storm will impact most of the entire state through today,
Mhm.
through tomorrow, and into Friday. It will move
Oh,
northward.
scary.
That's a word, but
Mhm.
it gives you a
I know what
wide
you're saying. Yeah.
latitude
Yeah.
towards Georgia
Mhm.
and into the Carolinas.
hmm
Stay tuned to all weather services that you can get, except I will say, except the TV weather guys who just like to hype everything over the next few days, and be
Yeah.
prepared to evacuate.
Yeah.
I don't care where you are, even if you're in North Carolina, if you're in Emerald Isle, if you're at Topsail,
Mhm.
wherever, pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they tell you, get your butt out of
Mhm.
here,
Yeah.
get your
Get
butt out of
out.
there.
Yeah.
Go,
Yeah. Yeah.
move,
hmm
do what you're told to do.
Flood areas, low lying areas. Yeah.
Hopefully, all of us have our hurricane plans of action in place. That includes
hmm
how we can hunker down, how we're prepared to deal with the
Mhm.
next 3 or 4 or 5 days with no electricity. Can happen. It's been there before.
I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
This
Yeah.
is precautionary for eastern North
Mhm.
Carolina, as the latest forecast has
Mhm.
Ian downgrading to a depression, hopefully, as long as it doesn't get into the ocean again, and then move northwestward away from the coastline. All of that can change as more often than you change your underwear.
Well, it changed from the initial to where it was originally going up into the panhandle.
I know.
Yeah.
So
So it's,
we know better.
I mean, it's changing.
Today,
Yikes.
as predicted, northerly winds 15 to 20 offshore with gusts to 25. Do not go.
hmm
Seas 3 to 5 feet, except 2 to 3 near shore. Don't let that uh, entice you. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Dominant period 5 seconds. Sounds and rivers choppy. They'll be fine.
hmm
Northeasterly winds tomorrow, not so good. 25 to 30, gust of 40 knots. 40 knots is 45 miles per hour.
hmm
No, just don't.
hmm
Seas 5 to 8 feet. Don't think you can get out there early and beat Mama Nature.
hmm
Coming back's worse than going out.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 to
agree.
5 near shore, dominant period of 4 seconds. They're about that far apart.
Nope.
It's a bam, ba bam, ba bam, ba
No,
bam.
we don't do that.
Sounds and rivers very rough.
Yes, it is.
Northeasterly winds Friday, 25 to 30, gust of 40 again, seas 8 to 11 feet.
No, sir. Mm-mm.
5 to 8 near shore. No,
Mhm.
no. The fish will gonna go
They'll
somewhere
jump in your
else.
boat somewhere.
They
They're
can
just
go
going to
somewhere
go. They'll
else.
go to the bottom and just
Sounds
chill.
and rivers very rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty out there beginning today. Tomorrow's going to be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Friday's going to be worse than terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So just don't do it. Now, let me talk about the things we talk about on a regular basis.
Mhm.
When there's a hurricane, when there are any northeastward wind,
Yeah.
anytime the sea's starting to get rough,
Mm-hmm.
the ocean washes over this little sandbar that's
Mhm.
just off the beach. Along our entire coastline, we got little sandbars out there. Depends upon what's going on as to how far out they are. They
Okay.
move, they
Yeah.
change every day.
Mhm.
When the ocean rolls over those things with big waves, they have to go back out. The water rushes back out. It's going to cut what we call a little inlet.
Mhm.
These are rip currents that is
Oh,
forming.
yes, Lord.
Rip
Yes.
currents, how
Mhm.
wide it is, just depends upon the intensity of what's going
I
on.
agree with that. Yeah.
Hard to see unless you're very
Mm-hmm.
experienced. And ain't a soul from Roxborough or your neck of the woods or Charlotte that knows what they look like
Mm-hmm.
until they get in them.
Mm-hmm.
Do not get out there, regardless of how calm it looks close to shore.
Mm-mm.
When the waves come over that sandbar,
I agree.
they're going to open up a hole through the sandbar to go back out. You step into that little hole
Mhm.
and you're going out with it. You cannot fight it. You cannot resist it. All you can do to survive is to go with the flow and then go either north or south, up the beach or down the beach. I don't care which. To a way to get back across the sandbar.
I agree.
Let the waves bring you back across the sandbar, then walk ashore and say, "Phew, give me a beer."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's about all you're going to
Yeah,
want at
yeah.
that point in time. Don't get out there. I don't
Yeah.
care how experienced you are. You ain't more powerful than Mama Nature.
I agree with that.
All right, what's happening on land?
Well, today partly sunny, a high of 75, but the gusts will start today with gusts as high as 16 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 58. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 72 with gusts as high as 26. And tomorrow night's when the rain starts. In between the rain will be cloudy, low of 61. Friday, flat out rain, high of 74, gusts as high as 32 miles an hour. According to this, Friday's rainfall between 1 and 2 inches. Friday night rained. The heavy rain starts, according to this, low of 65. And then Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday and Saturday night, literally say on here heavy rain. The high Saturday, according to this now, is 79, but we'll see. And then Saturday night with a low of 65. And then Sunday, partly sunny, 50% chance of rain, high of 80.
Now, the thing about this rainfall, we're going to have a total
Mm-hmm.
beginning tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
When this mess goes away on Sunday, somewhere between 4 and whatever number of inches.
Correct.
4 to
We'll have
6
a-
is what's predicted.
Yeah, but it could be
That's
more.
going to be changed.
Yeah.
That can change.
Yeah.
Like I say.
Yeah. Either way, but yeah.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Depends upon what the path of this storm takes.
So I think if people should this weekend, especially Saturday, when it literally on my computer on this
Don't-
literally says heavy rain,
Yeah.
stay home Saturday.
Yeah.
My grandson and I may not be running our errands on
Streets
Saturday.
are going to flood.
Yes.
People are going to be out.
Mhm.
Lots of rain on the weekend is bad anytime.
Bryn Mawr floods. So if
Bryn
you live
Mawr-
in Bryn Mawr, my daughter lives
Oh,
there.
Bryn-
It's going to flood. Go
Bryn
ahead and
Mawr
expect
floods
it.
when there's heavy,
Yeah.
high humidity.
Yeah.
Okay?
So it is going to flood on
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
One teenager was killed
Mhm.
yesterday. He was among 5 Philadelphia high school students who were shot following a football scrimmage.
That's a hot mess.
I'm like, please explain to me how this can happen. Happened about 4:40 at Roxborough High School in the rear of the campus.
Mm-hmm.
Shots rang out following a scrimmage between Roxborough Northeast High School and Boys Latin High School.
Mm-hmm.
The students from the 3 schools were just having a fun time.
Right.
After the scrimmage, 2 gunmen ambushed a group,
Mm-hmm.
those kids. Those kids walking near the school.
That's
5
terrible.
students were shot.
Ah,
One died. 14-year-old died. This is Philadelphia, the city of brotherly
yeah.
love.
yeah. That claims it has a tough gun policy, but apparently that's a lie.
Came as
Yeah.
the city approached 400 killings as of Monday.
Mm-hmm.
400 murders this year. Killings
Been a mess.
this year.
Yes, but they have spun it that it hasn't been a mess. I've been following some
The
of that.
same time frame last year, they had 404.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I can see through this crap.
I totally can, but
The city has an enforcement problem.
yeah,
okay?
that's my point.
Not
yes.
just the police, don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but government
Mhm.
leaders
Mhm.
and the judicial system included.
Yes.
If good people in this country don't back strong law enforcement efforts, and civic and government leaders don't unite
Mhm.
with law enforcement, this stuff is going to continue.
Yeah.
Justice, don't get me wrong, must be fair. It has to be fair, but also should be swift and severe.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds of $100 to get out of jail for doing something bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds of nothing. Own recognizance when you killed somebody. No.
I agree.
The bad people will rule if we don't regain control. Honest, hardworking people will continue to die. Kids, a 14-year-old yesterday, after a game, a scrimmage game at his high school, 14 years old, done.
Yep.
Toast. 3 days.
And I bet they haven't caught any of the gunmen.
Of course not.
Yeah.
3 days, he'll be buried and he'll be forgotten in the city
It's
of
very
brotherly
sad.
love.
It's very
A
sad.
few flowers here, a
Yeah.
little memorial there.
Yeah.
It's over. What's it going to take, America? What's it going to take, Onslow County? Our number, where are you? 910-333-0139. What's it going to take to get this freaking country back on course?
More than gun control, because look at what we've
Oh.
had with knives even at the Pitt County Fair last week.
Yes.
It's not just guns. So I don't want
No,
people to say
no,
gun
don't-
control.
don't even go
Let's
there.
just bypass that argument. It's not just guns.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about something that's really ticked me off. It's a Marine, a Marine veteran,
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Well, I just
57 years old,
okay.
lived his life to serve this country.
Oh no.
And now this country is screwing him. No, one state is screwing him in
Oh
this
my
country.
word. Okay. It better not be North Carolina.
It ain't.
Okay.
You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. All right. Do you one that's really got me ticked off.
Let's hear it.
I read it last night
Okay.
and I got mad.
Okay.
A decorated Marine veteran,
Mm-hmm.
a licensed conceal and carry person from Virginia.
Okay.
So he goes over to Maryland
Oh Lord, that's first mistake right there. But okay.
to meet an old pal,
Okay. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
sees his friend
Mm-hmm.
being attacked and beaten.
Mm-hmm.
So he jumps into action.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his gun.
Mhm.
He doesn't pull his gun. Even though the other guy had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy was pistol whipping his friend.
Oh heck no.
I'd have shot that sucker.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps into action physically.
Mm-hmm.
He's trained.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even pull his gun. But he was able to subdue the assailant and then hold him on the ground, he and his friend. They held him on the ground till the cops got there.
Okay.
57-year-old Lloyd Muldrow.
Mm-hmm.
He remembered his training, jumped into the action, rescued his friend from the armed assailant.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's facing jail time
For what?
for possession of a gun for which he has a concealed carry permit in Virginia so he can carry it. He could also lose his clearance to maintain a job providing security to federal facilities.
You have got to be kidding
No,
me.
I'm not. The whole thing unfolded
Oh, I gotta read this.
while this nation was celebrating Independence Day on the 4th of July. That's
Okay.
when it started. And now he's scheduled to have a jury trial in Baltimore Circuit Court on Halloween. How appropriate.
Oh, how stupid.
From Independence Day to Halloween. There's nothing united about these United
Nope.
States,
Right.
especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. Yes, individual states have and should have the right to adopt their own laws, but nowhere does it say that the states can bypass the rights guaranteed by our Constitution, including the Second Amendment, including the First Amendment, free speech. This Marine, a Marine hero, showed he's still a hero.
Yep.
But his freedom is now in jeopardy. Even after he told the police when they arrived on the scene, hey, I've got a gun. It seemed at first that the cops who were there were going to exercise common sense. Then shows up a supervisor. He made sure that Muldrow would have to deal with Maryland's legal system. He said, arrest him. He's got a gun. He should not have the gun in Maryland. Just across the border, he's gone. This kind of crap has got to change. We've got to get some common sense legislative rights going on, some kind of an approach to conceal and carry laws. It needs to be united. If you're licensed to, and Maryland, by the way, has a concealed carry law too.
Yeah.
You can get
Maryland is just a
it's-
crap
it's-
state anyway.
it-
I wouldn't
yeah.
live there. And
If you're
believe me, I have an
licensed to
aunt that used
carry
live
in
there.
one state, you should be able to carry in all states. There is no constitutional right, by the way, that guarantees you the right to drive in all 50 of our states. Did you know that? There's no constitution. You have a right to drive. Ain't in the Constitution.
True that. You're right about that.
It's a privilege.
Yep.
However,
Mhm.
you can drive in all 50 of our states with
Mhm.
a driver's license from North Carolina,
Mhm.
Virginia, New York, Maryland, New Hampshire, wherever.
Mhm.
You've got a privilege to drive anywhere you want to
I
drive
agree with that.
in this
Yeah.
entire country, all 50
Mhm.
states. I can drive in other countries
Mhm.
based upon my North Carolina driver's license. If you have a driver's license issued in North Carolina, your ability to drive anywhere is acknowledged. If you have a concealed carry permit, you cannot carry your gun in Maryland.
Mhm.
If you have a concealed carry permit, let me explain something else to you. You got a North Carolina license plate on your car, and some cop decides, oh, let me run that. Maybe he's got a concealed carry permit. And he runs the tag, and it shows up that you've got a concealed carry permit, and he pulls you over and he searches your car
Right.
looking for a gun. You're in trouble
Mhm.
because you can't even carry it in Maryland. And in other states too, about 15 other states. won't allow you, even if you've got a concealed carry permit in North Carolina or one of the other 34 or plus states. You can't carry it in other states. You can't even possess it. You cannot have it in your car in a lot of states. Because when they run your tag and they get a name and they run your name, as some overzealous people will do in law enforcement, especially young ones who've never been anywhere in their lives except in this oppressed part of the world they live in. They'll find out you have a concealed carry permit. And then they will use that any way they can as what they call probable cause, which ain't, to search your vehicle.
Right.
Do not allow them to search your car without a warrant anywhere you are. Period. And I was a cop for 18 years.
Right.
Do not allow them to go beyond your rights as an American. If they've got enough probable cause to stop you and search your car, then they will have to show it in court. They can search your car without your permission, even without a warrant, if they've got enough what they call PC.
I know.
In other words, they've just watched a drug deal go down. They know that you're involved. They can declare an emergency search and they can search your vehicle. But they will have to prove in court that they had enough probable cause, but the likelihood of you getting away while they were waiting for a warrant was high. And if they can prove that in court, then you're done. If they see you get into your car with a fully automatic rifle, a machine gun, you've hidden it in the trunk, but they watch you do it, that's enough probable cause. They can do it.
Well, you know, that Marine I was just reading on here has a GoFundMe page
to
support his legal.
I know he does.
And the officer told him to talk to a legislator.
Oh, yeah.
What a jerk. Come on.
Who?
The officer. I mean, I know
he
he's trying to
no. He told him that they really, this cop, the first one that had conversation with him, he was not going to do anything.
No, but the other one contacted the Maryland State Police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Idiots.
You know, sometimes people, sometimes people don't exercise just straight common sense. I mean, come on.
No, they don't.
And that's
Do you know what? Officer discretion can be used for a lot.
Yes.
Mostly, okay, you made some stupid little mistake. I ain't going to write you.
Correct.
I'm not going to do it. It was a stupid little mistake. We'll talk to you about it, but I'm not going to write you.
And don't do it again. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Why do
you just say, because this guy just saved some guy's life.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Literally. And that's what the guy said. The other guy said.
Yeah. He said he saved my life.
Yeah. We got to change our system. We got to change our mentality.
Well,
why are you going after good people like this guy?
Yeah.
Why aren't you going after the bad people?
Yeah. Please tell me the guy that was beating him actually got charged.
Oh, he got charged, but I don't know with what.
Okay.
Other than assault.
Probably nothing. Yeah.
And he'll be able to walk. This guy can face a year in jail.
Yeah.
He faces a year in jail.
And loss of his job and everything.
Simply because he's got a gun.
Yeah. But he didn't even pull the gun out. That's
and he's
the thing.
Trained. He's trained way beyond.
But he did not have the gun out.
They wouldn't have known he had a gun if he didn't tell them. And he did like we do here in North Carolina. The law in Virginia is pretty much the same. If you're engaged with a law enforcement officer, you have to tell the law enforcement officer if you're packing.
But see, this is now going to make people not want to say anything for reasons like this.
That will be a violation.
I agree with what you're saying, but you've got to weigh the pros and cons here. We got to take a break.
910-333-0139. If it's going to make me madder than what I've already been made.
It's just going to be like, what's aggravating to me is, we'll see what you think.
You're live in Local Real Talk. We'll be right back. Don't go away. And we're back, and got a couple of minutes here. Doug, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I just love it when conservatives take one of their most basic principles and just throw them over the side when it's no longer convenient for them.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Well, but conservatives have been, since the very core of who they are is about state rights. Oh, state rights, state rights, state rights. Oh, we don't like what Maryland's doing. To hell with them.
No. State rights
That's
cannot.
exactly what you're
State
saying.
rights cannot supersede our Constitution. That's what I've said. I still maintain that. No, cannot do it.
Well, it hasn't superseded the Constitution.
Yes, it has.
There is no constitutional right to concealed permit.
There is a right to bear arms, period. Bottom line, it doesn't say conceal
Look
or
at
otherwise.
Williams versus the state of Maryland. The Supreme Court has decided in that case that each state can dictate their own laws. Let me ask you a question. I have a friend.
Did you say dictate?
Yes,
That's a
each
scary
state
word,
has
isn't
a
it?
right on gun laws to dictate.
Oh, they can.
Where we are.
They can dictate the right for talk radio cannot get on the air in Maryland. Is that right? Maybe they're going to stop us from being on the internet because we get into Maryland. Is that right? Can we do that?
Are they doing that?
No. Can they do that? Is that what you're saying? Can they do that? Can they say you do not have a right to free speech in Maryland?
Well, they haven't.
Do they have a right to say that you cannot
comparing free speech to concealed carry?
No.
Is kind of naive.
No, it's not naive.
There is no constitutional right for concealed carry.
There is a constitutional right to bear arms. It doesn't say anything about
there
being
is
concealed.
a constitutional right to bear arms to protect your property.
No. There is not.
That's the way it is.
No,
Look
it's
at Williams.
not.
I realize
There is no constitutional right to protect your property. There's no constitutional right to bear arms for any reason other than you have a constitutional
There's not. You're
right.
simply wrong
There's
about
no
that. Look at Williams versus Maryland.
I don't care about
if
Williams
that's the case,
versus Maryland.
If that's the case, how are these states allowed to have different rules?
That's exactly what I just said. There's nothing united about these United States.
Because you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
You're wrong is the reason they are.
No, I'm not.
If some gun person would have taken this to court, and they tried, in the case of Williams. That's the guy who said, wait a minute, you're violating my rights, Maryland. And the Constitution said, no. And Maryland, the Supreme Court said, no, Maryland has that right. It's already been decided. Williams versus Maryland, anyone can Google it, and you can find the case.
But there is
Maryland has the right.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about concealed carry.
That's correct. So it's left to the states if it's not specifically spelled out.
It says you have a right to bear arms. It doesn't say it has to be open carry, concealed carry, or otherwise.
So the Constitution has left it to the states to decide for themselves.
So they've so the states have gone beyond what the Constitution says. How do you have a driver's license and you can go to California and drive with a North Carolina license?
Somebody has tried to make the argument that you're making right now. His name was Williams. It was an individual who was very similar to the case you're talking about, and he then tried to sue the state, and the Supreme Court rejected the case, saying Maryland has the right. I mean, I understand you may not like what Maryland is doing, but by no means have they violated any law.
Absolutely, they violated the Constitution, not a law. They violated.
Well, then I'm going to go with I'm going to go with 9 Supreme Court justices and their opinion over yours. Let me ask you a question.
I have an opinion.
Let me ask you a question. The great state of Colorado has legalized recreational use of marijuana.
That is
under Rayford's plan. If I have a house guest coming in from Colorado, well, if it's legal in Colorado, he should be able to bring his marijuana to North Carolina and enjoy it here.
Well, first of all, he's
that's what you're saying.
First of all, he's crossing state lines, and there is also a federal law against it.
Well, you're crossing state lines with your open carry. It's the same thing.
No.
You're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
I'm not.
Can somebody from South Carolina bring their illegal fireworks over the border to North Carolina?
Yes, but they're going to get arrested.
There you go. Same thing that happened to this guy in Maryland. Same thing. How is one thing okay and the other? The reason it's okay is you like guns and you don't like pot. You like guns and you don't like fireworks.
Nothing in our Constitution allows you to have fireworks or stops you from having fireworks. Okay.
That is correct. So
right.
The states can make their own laws when it comes to fireworks, just as they can make their own laws when it comes to concealed carry, and they do.
They cannot.
Well, they do.
I know
Obviously,
they do. I know they do it, but they cannot do it.
Well, if they're doing it and it's been brought up to, you're simply wrong on this issue. Well, they have the right to do this.
In your opinion, I'm wrong on everything, but I tell you, you're wrong 98% of the time.
Well, in this case, I have the backing of a very conservative Supreme Court.
All right, we got a break.
Has that right.
Have a good day, Doug.
You too.
Yeah, you're live and local, Real Talk. Fox News is next. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. I think. Yep, we're back. And Doug, Doug is all, and I don't pay Doug to come up to be the other side.
No, but Doug this is how Doug thinks, but it's
the way it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do respect his opinions because every now and then he's right. I think he was right in 1998, maybe.
Was he? Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure. I didn't know him then. He was right in 2004 or 5 when he got out of Baton Rouge after Katrina hit, and he moved to Wilmington.
Well, he was right when he got his pup.
And he's right when he got his pup. That's a good little doggy he's got.
Oh, his pup is
handsome. We got Dr. Rose calling in a couple of minutes. The storm, what they're calling a monster storm now, in which they're pretty accurate in that description. Ian is a monster storm. And it's just off
beyond
the
monster
coast. It's just out there, just off the coast of the Tampa Bay area. And it has sustained winds of 155 miles per hour now as of 8 o'clock, moving towards the northeast at 10 miles per hour. So within hours, it's already impacting, but within hours, it's going to have the full-fledged force of the eye wall hitting that area. And it's going to be ugly because that area is flatter than Twiggy was.
Yeah.
It's going to be nasty. And unfortunately, a lot of people, even though they're in a mandatory evacuation situation, they've decided to ride it out.
Right.
I don't like what things like the News and Observer breaking news that I just got popped up. It could produce 10 inches of rain on the coast if this storm goes to the coast. There's nothing in the forecast, in the predicted path of this storm now, that gives it any opportunity of changing course. Can it happen? Absolutely. Do you go with a 1, 2, 5, 10% possibility, or do you go with the 90% likelihood? You tell me.
Should go with the 90% likelihood.
Do you prepare for the worst, hope for the best? You prepare for the 10%, but you hope for the 90%. For us, that's what I'm saying. And the speculation among the mass media, the pundits out there, they've got to sell newspapers. They got to sell their hype on TV. I hear it all the time. Used to work in it.
Right.
We had a common sense meteorologist. He did not do that. He was the other. He did the 10%. I mean, the 90%. He didn't do the 10% of possibilities.
I agree. I hear you. But I mean, I think they're just at this point
They're hyping.
but also just, well, I don't know about whoever you just read from, but
That's News and Observer.
Yeah.
Because in the same situation, they've got it going up to the western part of North Carolina. But anyway, whatever. Now that little disturbance out there, TD1, as they call it now.
TD1. I didn't even notice was there till earlier.
90% chance of cyclone formation.
Oh, it went up a whole 10%. We done went 10% in a 35 minutes.
You're reading the headlines.
No, I was reading that.
I know. That's what I said. That's the headline.
Yeah.
But down here it says, a short-lived tropical depression or tropical storm is expected to form later today as the system moves generally northward or northwestward through the end of the week, but remaining over the open central Atlantic. Remaining over the central Atlantic.
I like it. Yeah.
It's called short-lived. That's the reason we haven't talked about it very much.
I didn't even know it was there. So I just happened to be
we got another issue knocking at Florida's door.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is only, 400 miles, 300 miles, 350 miles from here?
Correct.
That ain't far. This storm is several thousand miles away. I mean, this massive
seems
nothing.
very far. Yeah.
This massive nothing is out there. That's the reason we're dismissing it at this point in time. Good. The voice of common sense we're going to deal with now.
I like it.
Are you ready for
Let's
that?
hear it.
There ain't nothing common about common sense anymore, but we've got Dr. Rosemary Stein on with lots of common sense. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. That's very sweet.
No, it's not sweet. It's accurate. Just the facts,
thank you nonetheless. I do feel like common sense is just not the common anymore.
It's not very common. You're absolutely right. What's going on in your world?
Oh, wow. We are in the midst of COVID, not flu, demic. Just as predicted, and I don't know how it is over in Anson County, but just as predicted, these kids have no immune system.
Oh, Lord.
And they're back in school, so they're catching everything off of each other, and they're snotty noses, fevers, coughs, and chills galore.
Oh, yeah. They can stay there. Don't come here.
Yeah, we don't want sickness.
Don't take them to school if they're sick, guys. Don't take them to school. Do yourselves and everybody else a favor. You just get that call at 10 o'clock in the morning saying, "Come and pick your kid up," and it's going to be very disruptive to everybody.
Wow.
How long is this sickness lasting once they get it?
It's very short. It's about 2 to 3 days. Some of them linger, but it's only because, as you know, kids sniff their snot.
Yeah.
And when they do that, it goes down into their airways and into their lungs, and then it makes them sicker. So blow your noses.
Yeah. Spit it up, blow it out, do whatever. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
And don't do it out in the public. Do it into a Kleenex or something. And then flush it. And then flush it.
Yeah.
And then flush it. And wash your hands after.
Absolutely.
So,
and don't shake hands.
So, other than that, it's pretty short-lived.
That's good. What are the effects of it while you've got it during those 3 or 4 days?
It seems like you start with a runny nose, a bit of a sore throat, then you develop a cough, obviously because of the drainage. You may or may not have a fever. You even can have some chills and muscle aches. So everybody's getting tested for COVID, but I don't think we've had any positives.
That's good.
In the last week. But to me, this is very similar to the COVID that we had when we were spiking about a month ago or so. But it's not coming. It's not coming out positive. They all recuperate, so that's good. It's not put any kids so far in the hospital, and some of them run kind of high fevers because the gunky stuff goes into their chest, and they develop pneumonia. But so far, none of these kids have done poorly. All of them have recuperated and done pretty well, and they're back. They're back to their normal lives within a week.
Yeah, as long as they can recover and get back to normalcy, that's good. do you advise? I mean, even when the temperature drops down, say it drops down on Thursday, do you suggest keeping them out maybe Thursday and Friday? Precautionary.
Well, yes, I think that's a really good idea, especially up against the coast, depending on how much rain and wind you guys are going to get. If they're halfway sick, don't send them to school.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be miserable. It's going to be cold. They are going to get a little wet, especially if they're waiting for the school bus. But for the little ones, if they're giving you an out on Thursday and Friday for the kids not to go to school because of the weather, take it especially kindergarten, first and second grade. I think it's and especially think about it if your kid's in the school bus.
Yeah.
It can get kind of scary for kids out there.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you right now that you're probably going to be, as long as the track of this hurricane, which will be a tropical depression by the time it gets into South Carolina, central South Carolina, is probably going to impact you more than it is us.
That's very likely.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Well, and you guys, you're
track.
going to have a lot of waves though. So
we got waves. Oh, absolutely. They're starting.
Yeah,
they're
you're
starting
going to have
now.
a lot. So your surf is going to get pretty high. So people have to take the precautions if you live right around the water or you're planning on, visiting those areas. Just take the precautions. Make sure that you don't do anything silly. Don't show silly stuff to your kids and then laugh about it.
Yeah.
Because it will get, especially if you live in the southern part of the coast of the state.
Absolutely.
It's going to get a little dicey.
Yeah, well, you're going to have what we all around here realize are rip currents, and what some people out of Charlotte and that direction, they have no clue what that is, except, it's a rip current. Well, I'm not going to jump into the water if there's a rip current there. How do you know what one looks like?
That's right. You don't see it until it
it's too late.
Pulls you away and into the water.
And if I keep issuing this warning all the time. If you are, I'm not going to say dumb enough, but if you end up in the water, standing there, and a rip current forms, which it can form while you're standing in knee-deep water.
True.
Seriously, it can open up and it can literally grab you, drop you to the water's edge, even in knee-deep water, and pull you out through this little inlet that it creates through the sandbar. Just stay on top of the water. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to swim against it. You're not going to win. You cannot swim against that current. You can lose. Then you're exhausted. Within probably 100 feet, it's going to turn you loose. It goes away. Then you just swim either up the beach or down the beach. And when you get up either way, and then swim back ashore, you'll swim over the shallow water. And then you can get up and walk. No big deal. Panic will kill you. Your reaction to the panic will kill you.
And fighting that current will make you tire out and drown.
That's right.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. You cannot beat it. Mm-hmm. Mama Nature is more powerful than you will ever be.
Well, it sounds like it was a personal experience for you.
I've been in that kind of water on many occasions, but it was not, intentional or whatever. But yes, I know the rules. I'm very comfortable in the ocean or wherever in water.
I think it might be a good idea for you to videotape what you just said and maybe even put it on YouTube.
Well, YouTube's not a bad idea. I've tried to get over the years, living around here, back around here. I've tried to get one of the TV stations to let me shoot one of their reporters. And they put a life jacket on them, so there's no chance there's going to be a problem. And I can make arrangements to have a boat or a Coast Guard's boat out there. Not a big deal. It's easy to do, and they've told me that I could do it. They would do it. Stand by just in case. But the TV stations, their liability will not allow them to do that. Like, really? What? Anyway, even though it was a volunteer reporter, said she would do it, no problem whatsoever. And she was also a diver.
Yeah, some people just don't know, and kids and parents need to be aware of these facts and the fact that kids should learn how to swim.
You know what?
Every kid, once they jump into things happen. You can just be next to the pool, and next thing you know, you're inside the water.
That's right.
And if you don't have those life skills of being able to swim, you know, the kid's going to be in danger. And so I feel that every kid should know how to swim. And if they don't, then parents make sure that they do. You teach them yourself, or you enroll them at the local Y or swimming club so that they learn how to swim.
Well, we have a problem here in coastal North Carolina. It's specifically in Onslow County. Pender County, probably the same thing. Other counties, the same thing. We don't have a public swimming pool. We don't have public courses. The Red Cross has been either rents or is loaned out or whatever, privileges at a motel at one time to teach swimming.
Wow.
My wife, when she was a teenager, used to teach swimming in her backyard. We run into people on a regular basis, including a couple that we went down to the Bon Air with. The wife had taken swimming lessons from her back in the 60s. But it was at a private pool, their own backyard swimming pool.
Wow.
Yes,
wow.
We run into it on a regular basis. People say, "You remember me? You taught me how to swim." It's really weird. But we don't still, 50, 60 years later, we still do not have a public swimming pool in Onslow County where kids can be taught how to swim.
And that's so weird considering we're on the coast.
And
It's
we
so
live on the
weird.
coast.
That is really bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
tell me
you would
about
think, You would think that having the military post that would be fixed, because
No. See, that got
all the
they've got
ancillary
pools on
folks
base.
they got plenty of pools on base, but at one time even the civilians could go out there, just get a pass and go out there, but no more. You can't even drive on the base.
No.
You can't get a pass to drive on the base without a whole lot of stipulations being involved.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I
Mhm.
think that's something that for the leaders and the folks who run stuff in Anson County to take note. That is really important.
In
because
Onslow County,
that's going to affect the growing up of the kids.
I'm thinking right now, let's see, we don't have any lifeguards on the beaches in Onslow County either, by the way, the 11 miles of beach that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any lifeguards. So right now there's, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 of our 7 county commissioners, I guarantee you, are listening right now.
Yeah, I know one is for sure.
I know 4 that are 98% likely listening to what we're saying, and they're going to chastise me later. Well, no,
That's
they won't,
okay.
because they know it'll hurt them.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, here's one for you guys. If you could do a retrospective study or looking at number of kids or folks that maybe hopefully not drown, but have near drowning experiences in Anson County versus choose another county that's nearby that maybe does have public access to swimming pool.
Yeah.
And compare both and see, the number of accidents or near drownings that you have one versus the other. If your numbers come up correctly, then that's a great reason to encourage a public swimming pool that is attended by a lifeguard.
Yeah, and where they can offer life-saving skills, swimming lessons.
That's right.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, they could actually do the preliminary certification for lifeguards in a swimming pool.
True that.
Oh, wow. I love it. I
they
love how
need
the
to.
conversation went to something new.
Anyway.
Okay. Well,
Hey, prevention is, what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth how many pounds of cure?
1 million.
Yeah.
Stop it and prevent it, and don't worry about it. That's the
Yeah.
best thing that I can suggest.
Yeah. Yep. I'm there.
All right, Dr. Rosemary, it's time. We do go in different directions, don't we, at times?
That's okay.
But it's all
Yes,
related.
But that one was good. I liked it a lot.
Save the people.
Yes.
That's right.
All
Save those kids. Teach them how to swim.
We'll
Yep.
see you
You guys
next.
have a great week.
Yeah,
Have a
you
good
too. Stay dry because you can get a little damp up in your neck
It's
of the
gonna
woods
rain
too.
up there. Yeah.
So,
It will be. It will be. We'll try to be safe.
All
Thank
right.
you.
thank you. Live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. Weather's next, and then it'll be your turn after
Got a
that.
shortage, and in something, it's just so outrageous
you're
in
making me mad.
Massachusetts.
You're just making me
Yeah.
mad.
The shortage or the outrageousness in Massachusetts?
The shortage.
Okay, yeah.
You're live and local, Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. End of the month is fast approaching.
Mhm.
Friday is the last day.
Mhm.
Last day to take advantage of some of the specials at Tideline Marine
Mhm.
here in Jacksonville. They only got 2 of these really nice flounder gigs left as of last night at 6:00.
People gonna be duking it out for them.
Only 2.
Mhm.
They normally sell for $120. Right now they're $99.99.
It's a good
So
deal.
there's 2 of them.
Mhm.
That's a good percentage
Heck
off.
yeah.
You say, oh my God, $100 for a flounder gig? Well, these are not the bamboo type poles,
Mhm.
not the little cheap
Yeah, these are
gig
nice
heads.
gigs. Yeah.
These are the gig heads, 5 prongs,
Mhm.
heavy duty metal that will last you forever and ever.
That's something
And
out of
a
like Aquaman.
10-foot long
Mhm.
gig handle.
Okay.
It's metal. It's
I
all
like
metal.
it.
It doesn't splinter. It doesn't do any of that stuff.
Nice.
When they're gone, they're gone.
Mhm.
I only got 2 left. I don't even know that they can get any more this year.
Mhm.
I'm not sure when it would arrive if they ordered it now. Special deal for you. Stop by Tideline Marine. They're at 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. I won't be there until about 10 o'clock. But if I'm still there, I'll sell you your gigs at 10 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has already bought them. Just hold on to it. Big weather picture, of course, is Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little bit more about that after we do the local weather.
Mhm.
You need to stay tuned to your weather radio,
Mhm.
to the internet. You can go to the National Hurricane Center for the latest information. They're up to date. They change it every 3 hours.
Mhm.
Just look for Ian in the National Hurricane Center.
Mhm.
A lot of the hype is coming out from things like the News and Observer said, well, we could get 10 inches of rain here on the coast. Well, it's not even predicted. In their same story,
Mhm.
they've got it going inland. They're not even mentioning coastal North Carolina in the hurricane forecast right now.
Mhm.
I'll give you that in just a couple of minutes. So hang in there. This is precautionary for Eastern North Carolina. Yes, things can change.
Mhm.
They can change. When you're in the 10% category, it could change. But go with the 90% right now. Plan for the 10%, hope for the 90%. And we'll be just fine. Northerly winds offshore today, 15 to 20, gusts to 25, seas 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, dominant period 5 seconds. Sounds and rivers will be choppy. Now, what affects us is not here on the coastal part. We're talking about as far as the ocean is concerned. That could be hundreds of miles away,
Mhm.
like this storm Ian,
Mhm.
like it was with Fiona
Mhm.
last week. It could be 600 or 800 miles away and still have an impact on what
impacted us.
happens
Yeah.
on the seashore itself.
Mhm.
Okay, not what happens on dry land. You
Correct.
you may have blue skies and rip currents.
Yeah. Agreed.
Blue skies, rough ocean. It happens, but that's affected by conditions elsewhere.
Mhm.
So the 2 to 3 footers near shore today, that's okay. Dominant period 5 seconds, that's okay. Sounds and rivers are getting choppy. Tomorrow, though, 25 to 30 northeasterly winds, gust to 40 knots. That's 45 miles per hour. Seas getting big, 5 to 8 feet. You heard me say getting big.
Mhm.
Sounds and rivers very rough. Friday,
Mhm.
they're going to be really big.
Mhm.
8 to 11 feet offshore.
It's a big old no.
You don't want to do it.
Mm-mm.
Northeasterly winds 25 to 30 with gusts to 40 knots.
Mhm.
Seas 8 to 11 feet.
Mhm.
They might be less than that near shore on the beach, but that's not what you're looking at. Sounds and rivers are very rough.
Yep. All right. So this forecast has changed a little bit in the last hour. They've added something. So today, partly sunny, high of 75. Gusts today as high as 16 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 58. And not as windy tonight. That's weird to me, but okay. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high of 72, with gusts as high as 26 miles an hour. Then tomorrow night, showers likely, mainly starting after 2 a.m., according to this. Cloudy, low of 61, with gusts as high as 25 miles an hour starting tomorrow night. Friday, showers and breezy, literally what it says. High of 74, gusts as high as 32. That's a little more than breezy, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, change your word.
There's a gust there.
Yeah. Friday night, they added showers and breezy, then heavy rain. Okay, for Friday night,
Yep.
Low of 65. And then Saturday, heavy rain, literally what they wrote, and high of 79.
For the latest
Mhm.
in between forecasts from the
Yeah.
Hurricane Center,
Yeah.
the next one comes out at 11 o'clock this morning, the advisory. Catastrophic storm surge,
Mhm.
12 to 16 feet.
It's awful. Yeah.
12 to 16 feet
And if they haven't left
above
now, they're
ground
done.
level.
Yeah.
You can't go now.
You can't go now. Yeah. It's,
Well,
it's already
you
starting
might
to hit.
too. You might be able
outer
to.
bands are coming on so already.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Destructive waves
Mhm.
expected somewhere along the southwest Florida coastline. That's going to be in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
That area is big.
Mhm.
Where this thing actually makes landfall with the eye wall and all this extra waves and stuff like that, they don't know. Just be prepared for it. Residents in these areas should urgently follow any and all evacuation orders that are in effect. And they're there.
Yeah.
The governor has said it. Catastrophic wind damage expected along the southwestern coast of Florida beginning in the next couple of hours, where the core of Ian makes landfall. It's going to be ugly there.
Mhm.
The west coast of Florida doesn't get that many of this intensity.
Right.
These got sustained winds of 155 miles per hour.
Mhm.
They call it borderline Cat 5.
Mhm.
What is it, 156 miles per hour or
Yeah,
greater is Cat
yeah,
5?
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
155 is close enough
That's
to
a
Cat,
Cat 5, people. I don't care what you say. Yeah.
Heavy rainfall will spread across the entire peninsula of
Correct.
Florida through tomorrow
Mhm.
and reach portions of the southeast U.S. later this week and this weekend. Widespread, life-threatening, catastrophic flooding.
Mhm.
That's where you got to really worry about it, because inland flooding fills up those little. If you got nothing but lots of rain right on the beach, the
Yeah.
ocean can take care of that.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal. But inland, when you've got a lot of rain,
Mhm.
all that rain goes into small creeks and overflows.
Correct.
That's where you got flooding inland that really is a problem.
Yes.
That can block highways, including Interstate 40.
Yes.
It has done it before.
Yes,
It'll
it
do it
has.
again in the future.
Uh-huh.
Life-threatening, catastrophic flooding is
Mhm.
expected across portions of Central Florida. Considerable flooding in southern Florida,
Mhm.
northern Florida, southeastern Georgia, and coastal South Carolina.
Yeah.
Nothing mentioned yet about North Carolina. The projected path of this storm is, after it makes landfall in the Tampa Bay area,
Mhm.
it's going to continue as a hurricane for just a very short period of time. Then it's
Mhm.
going to be a tropical storm. It's going to cross much of the state of Florida, going in a northeasterly direction,
Mhm.
and supposedly hit the coast of Georgia and Florida, right along the coastline.
Mhm.
Georgia, and then move up a little bit and start turning back towards the northwest.
Yeah.
That will take it across central and western South Carolina
Correct.
and then into western North Carolina.
Mhm.
That does not mean that anywhere in North Carolina is free from a lot of rain.
No.
There's going to be rain.
Mhm. It's a big
Period.
storm.
Bottom line.
It's big.
It's
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah. So that's what I
It
mean.
is-
It's wide.
She's
It's
broadened
big.
the beams.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you that
Yeah.
way. That's what it is.
Correct.
So we're going to get rain.
Mhm.
The ocean's going to be rough.
Mhm.
We know that. And the ocean's going to form rip currents, and we're going to have those up and down the beach. I don't care how pretty it looks out there. Even if the ocean looks kind of calm
Yeah.
on Sunday, you're going to have rip currents forming.
Uh-huh.
Just don't do it. Don't get in it.
Uh-huh.
Don't think you can wade out to your knee deep or a little bit deeper in water,
Yes.
because it'll knock you down.
That made me think about something.
A rip current will knock you
Yeah.
down and
Yeah.
drag you offshore. It will not drag you under. This misnomer called an undertow, it doesn't pull you down.
No.
It pulls you out.
Yeah.
You go down when you fight it and you don't know how to deal with it. Good morning, Tim. Let's see. Did you do weather yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Tim.
I was listening. Hey, buddy. I mean, I know you know. What you just hit on a while ago, just a minute ago about the flooding.
Yes.
You
know that
brings up something. Oh yeah, and it brings up something. I used to back in the day. They would take prisoners and go in, and we call them mosquito ditches that run through the woods. And they used to clean them out, keep them clean, and we didn't have as bad a flooding way back yonder, like we do now. But I know the EPA no, we need to leave everything natural. We have a hurricane, drop it, if the trees fall over. Well, no, we need to leave them alone. No, I think really, and I've stressed this before, we need to do that again. We need to go in there and clean these ditches. I mean, not just, I ain't talking about the ones just on the side of the road. I'm talking about the ones that run through the woods. I mean, we got them right there. We got one right there at my house. We call them mosquito ditch. It's not been cleaned out in years. And it goes all the way to New River.
Yep.
That ditch does, and that's what it was put in there for, to get water away from the low-lying areas and go ahead and get it to the river much faster. And it was done in the early 60s. And I think we need to start doing that again.
I totally agree with you. And, we got plenty of prisoners. We keep arresting people.
And,
put them to work.
We got plenty. Yeah, put them to work. And, for every day they work, give them a day, lighten up the sentence or pay them 20 cents an hour or 40 cents an hour, whatever they used to pay them. But we need to get those cleaned out. And that's on the state level. I don't think it's on the county level.
It's not.
So you 4 county commissioners, don't worry, I'm not picking on y'all. Just to let y'all know that. But I really think we need to start doing that. And that was my comment when you were talking about the flooding. Because I know when Floyd and Florence hit, and we had all that great monstrosity of flooding going on. I mean, the water came out of New River, came out way out there behind my house, and went back into a branch called Big Branch and went back to the river. And when Florence hit, it did the same thing again, only this time there were houses in the way. And guess what they had to do? They had to be evacuated by air.
Yeah,
some of them did.
And we've got one of our colleagues here, Dee Dee. Her house was totally flooded in Florence.
Sure. Yeah, it was.
I mean, up to the second floor.
Up to the second floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coast Guard.
I remember that.
Her daughters.
Yeah. Had to bring a boat in to rescue. And this is not on the beach.
No. It was just a little creek.
It's a White Oak River.
Yeah.
This
she's right there near White Oak River where it crosses.
Well,
she had a creek in the back of her
where
house.
she was there. It was basically a drainage creek.
Yeah, it was just a little creek.
Right.
But nobody had cleaned it out. You're right. And it flooded.
Nobody.
And it came up.
Yeah, and you can even take these miniature excavators now and clean out a path where they can go in there and dig it out.
Yes.
We got. But
don't forget the beaver dams are there. You got to protect the beavers. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing about that when Ducks Unlimited did that, they didn't realize they breed like rats. I mean, beavers breed, and it caused such a havoc right on 258 where Chapel Creek runs across.
Yep.
Going toward Ranchland. They built a dam underneath that cauldron, and they had a time getting that thing out.
Wow.
And it was terrible. And see, that water came from the quarry. It was there before the quarry was started, but when the quarry was digging down and they hit the water table and they had to pump it out, they just pumped it in Chapel Run. That's what we called it. And it was amazing. I mean, you saw that water flooding and all that when it came through, but it then also created a job. They got people hired to do nothing but bust beaver dams and trap beavers. It did create a job, but it created a heck of a nuisance. And they still fighting them today.
Yeah,
they'll always fight them.
If they bring back those, the old hats and stuff like that made of beaver skin, you might be okay.
When it used to be at one time, I don't know if it is now, the state had a bounty on the beaver. Those guys were contracted to beaver. They got so much of beaver. That was, I know a couple of guys that started out doing that.
Wow.
I mean, they created a job. That was years ago.
How much were they paying? I mean, I got a rifle.
I don't remember. I didn't never ask them, but they were getting a bounty, and now they're employed. And wound up being employed about it. But it was just, and also the coyote problem. That was caused by the state.
I thought that was a Western state problem. I did not know.
It used to be.
He was, and somehow they got here.
Yeah, and they brought him in. Yeah, they brought him in here to harvest the deer. To kill off. Because we had too much deer. I said, well,
just
and we had a big meeting about it. No, well, that's what I told them. I said, why don't you extend the season? The season starts in September and that lasts through around January the 1st. I said, why don't you extend the season, extend the tag, because you only get so many tags a year. And I said, extend it to February.
Yeah, absolutely.
And oh no, man, those biologists had a fit. No, you can't do that.
So they're bringing coyotes to kill the deer.
And they kill people's dogs and everything else.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
They love cats. Now,
I'll
tell you what, coyotes love cats. And it was just amazing at what it created me way back there. I don't hardly do it anymore, but I had donkeys and I rented them out. $10 a month per donkey to a cattle farmer, cattle rancher. And after so long, after paying, look, man, the donkey's yours. You can keep them. And when they get rid of the donkey, they would either give them to me or sell them back to me or whatever. I did that for a long time. I don't do it anymore because I went to the miniature donkeys, and they were good for the goat people. You could, but I don't. My wife and Kelly and Lee and probably a whole bunch more. They've kind of put an end to all that.
That's right.
Because of Charlotte, you know, I can't do that no more. So, but hats off to y'all. You know, y'all didn't even speak to my wife, but I just she heard it.
Yep.
And that ended that. Yay. You need to get out of the donkey business. Oh, yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. But she greets me I didn't want to say this. She greets me every evening when I come home. I got a little hole in the fence where only she can get out because she's so little.
Uh-huh.
And she'll get out of the fence and walk down the aisle and sit there and wait for me. I have to go back in there, and I'll walk down there to her. And I'll pet her, and she'll turn around and go back in her little hole. And
awesome.
when she's getting, it's getting a little bit, she's getting tall enough to get a little bit tough to get in there. So, but, she does. She meets me. And she's starting to get white on her now.
Oh, really?
Like her daddy's got.
Uh-huh.
So she's gray with the cross, and she's got a little white on her feet. She's got some black garula stripes. But now she's a mess. So y'all done right by convincing me not to sell her.
Yes,
right.
I'm very happy about that.
I'm glad you did.
Like I said, it won't be this weekend clearly, but maybe next week I'm gonna come see her.
What does a wet jacket smell like?
I don't want to know. Don't.
All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Enjoy it.
All right, Tim. Take care. You're live and local Real Talk, and we might be right back. got a couple of stories to tell you about. You got a couple there. The U.S. Embassy in Moscow has urged all Americans who are in Russia to flee the nation after Putin partial mobilization decree last week.
Why would you even be there? But okay.
There are people who are there for whatever reason, but
some people go travel there for a vacation.
Our embassy is encouraging all y'all who are there.
Correct.
Get your butts out.
Leave.
Because
yes.
you might
100%.
be drafted. That's what encryption means.
Yeah.
You might be drafted to start fighting in Ukraine.
Nope.
I mean, Putin is really grasping at straws.
He is off the chain, Ray.
Yes, got that right.
Good gracious.
Okay, what you got?
Well, we got a shortage
of,
and
again, common sense would be
one. Well, yeah. Butter.
Butter what?
Butter. We have a butter shortage, apparently. And according to the Wall Street Journal, it may affect holiday baking. And the shortage is due to staffing issues and lower milk production. I just don't even understand.
Y'all not feeding your cows? What's going on?
And they said because there's less butter, the price has gone up.
Of course.
A lot. Yeah.
I paid
24.6% since last year.
I paid $7 a pound for butter in Bonaire. They don't have any cows there either.
Yeah. They had to import it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is outrageousness.
Wait,
totally outrageousness.
It's the margarine companies.
So now we're gonna have to start. Yeah, they're buying it all up, so people buy that nasty margarine
and put some plastic in the margarine.
Yeah.
Put some plastic in the butter and making margarine. That's what it is.
Yeah, because I use real butter.
I don't use that fake stuff.
No, I use the real butter.
I do too. Have to.
Yeah. Yikes.
God.
This is not a thing. I mean, we got to do.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. What else? What's next? So at least it's not toilet paper right now. It's butter. So let's go to Massachusetts.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. This makes me laugh, but it don't. So an off-duty Massachusetts National Guard member aggressively confronted a tour bus full of senior citizens thinking they were migrants.
You mean illegal aliens?
Yes. They just says migrants, but yes.
Really?
He followed them for miles, less than 5 feet off their bumper at one point, filming them. Apparently, he at one point filmed himself.
Why would he do that?
Then he followed them to their hotel and boarded the bus, confronted the driver and 37 senior citizens. What a crazy person.
I'm assuming this guy is an ex-National Guardsman.
Well, so the police were called. He followed them for 10 miles.
At 5 feet from the bumper?
And the bus driver said, I even switched lanes and everything.
Well, you know what I would have done being the bus driver, right? Just tap the brakes when he's 5 feet away. You're done.
Yeah.
That'd be an automatic call to the police then.
And the service member filmed himself in the video. He's saying, Tallahassee, Florida, a busload. Look at this. I'm following it all the way to the end.
He's in Tallahassee?
No, the bus was from Florida. It was Florida seniors in Massachusetts.
Going
on
to
a tour.
Massachusetts.
They were in Cape Cod. They were in Massachusetts on a tour.
Oh,
yeah.
He thought it was
He thought it was DeSantis' bus full of migrants.
Dude,
yeah.
Get a life.
So he says,
and get out of the
DeSantis
guard.
Bringing the border to your place. He said, I saw it coming over the bridge. I'm going to follow it. I was supposed to turn off and go home, but here we go. So he starts filming.
Nope.
So the police were called, and in the police report, the police detective writes, it appears that the service member was acting strangely and something was off. He was not making sense. And he attempted to control the conversation and talked about him trying to get someone from Afghanistan to the United States. The way he talked, it made it sound like he was connected somehow with the migrants on the base. So the colonel, Mark Kalin, director of the Army National Guard in Massachusetts, said they considered the conduct to be inappropriate and inconsistent with our military values.
I hope so.
They are evaluating him. They need to. And they're also reviewing appropriate disciplinary actions. They're investigating. And the video showed him trying to get on that board. And he goes, I have a right as a U.S. citizen to see what's going on. You know what I'm talking about. No, you don't.
Your rights end where mine begin.
And the bus driver told him, he said, these are senior citizens. You're going to give them a heart attack. And he goes, if it's 80-year-old people, I will walk away. Do you not see what's going on Martha's Vineyard? And he gets on the bus. He manages to get on somehow. And he's heard telling passengers that he served in Afghanistan. And he expressed frustration at his attempts to get someone from there to U.S. So don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. Then when he finally realized these are old senior citizen tourists, he said, I'm sorry. I didn't respect you guys. I'm sorry. I mean, what a psycho.
Yeah.
I mean, good gracious alive. And he scared these poor people to death.
I'm sure. Let's take a quick break. You're live and local, Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. You know, we talked a little bit. We don't have much time here left, but we talked earlier this week. You mentioned it about a guilty plea for a guy who shot a man at the Cave, which is a strip club, right here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Back in 2017.
Correct.
One of the charges against him, in addition to second-degree murder that he pleaded guilty to, was malicious conduct by a prisoner. Well, the DA, Ernie Lee here, he sent a news release out, and I was kind of curious
because I wondered what that was.
What that was all about. When they had him under arrest, they picked him up. They had to fight him, number one.
Okay.
At the nearby at the Walmart.
Yeah.
And they had to fight him. He had approached a woman at the self-checkout line, paid for her whatever she was getting, and then offered her $1,000 for her assistance to get away. She said she was afraid and thought of her son and didn't know the defendant. When they were outside, a couple of deputies took him into custody after a big fight with him.
Yeah.
At the station, officers attempted to execute a search warrant on the defendant for his DNA. He bit the swabs, chewed them up, and spit them out at the officers, getting blood and saliva on them. The defendant jumped into the shower to avoid any gunshot residue test of his clothing. He went into the shower fully clothed.
Nice.
So that's
okay. So that's what
how
did.
all of that went
Because you and I were
down.
talking about that. Okay, I wondered.
They never found his gun, but
Well, he pled guilty.
he did. The other guy also had a gun, but he never drew it or anything else. None of the evidence showed that. You're not supposed to be carrying a gun into a bar.
Correct.
Period. Bottom line. They've got rules against it.
They do.
That's not a state law. You can't consume alcohol if you have a concealed carry.
Correct.
While you're carrying, but the bars have rules against it.
They do.
So that's the reason for that. It's not a state or a federal law. Okay, we'll be back here again in about 22 hours, so hang in there for that. And I think, let's see, tomorrow we got, what's today, Wednesday? We got Congressman Murphy on tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll have him here in the morning and having a chat with him about everything that's going on. Oh, Lord of mercy. That'll take a couple of hours.
There's a lot. Yeah.
We're working on getting Senator Tillis for next week. He's requested some time, but we've had some issues with having the right time frame for him and us at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're getting that together too. So much going on nationally and internationally. We need both of those gentlemen here regularly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fox News is now the 10 o'clock. It's the Daily D's with Rick Dees, and at 3 o'clock this afternoon,
Hollywood.
Guess what?
Yep.
Hollywood will be in town.
Yes,
You're live
he
and
will
local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.